Hi guys, we're going to be starting very soon. Okay, we're going to start very soon. I'm going to show you how to easily crochet a bucket hat, but I don't think I'm going to be doing it all in one live, right? I don't think I'm going to be doing it in one live, but so we are going to start. So as you all know, you need a 4 millimeter hook, right, or whatever yarn you are using. It usually has a label on it, and on the label you see it's written what hook size you should use. So obviously you need yarn and you need stitch markers. Let me just grab my stitch markers so that we move nicely together. And for those who haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. Give this live a thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my upcoming lives. So I have a stitch marker here with me now, and what I'm going to do is we're going to make a slip knot, insert our hook, and we are going to chain what we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Am I going the right way? Let me see. Okay, let's see here, because I'm using the yarn I used before, so I really want to see where it starts and where it ends, right? So stay with me, guys, because at the end you'll be able to crochet your own granny stitch bucket hat. So stay with me till the end, and probably I'm not going to be able to complete this hat in one live session, but I'm going to come again tomorrow with the continuation so that we can continue doing this together. Okay, so I'm just fixing my yarn here. It's giving me a bit of a problem, but I think I am done now. So where should I start? Okay, so that is fixed. So this yarn I'm using is a variegated yarn. You see it to change color is with crochet. So we are going to make a slip knot, and we are going to insert our hook like so, and we are going to chain 3, 1, we're going to chain 4 actually, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and into the first stitch chain there we're going to insert our hook, and we are going to yarn over, then we pull through, and then we pull through the other one, and now we have a circle there. That's our magic ring, and we are going to chain 3. And remember, if you have been following me, what I always say about these 3 chains is that they count as our first double crochet, so always remember that. Now we are going to yarn over, insert into the ring, yarn over, pull through. Now we've got 3 loops on our hook, 1, 2, 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and again pull through 2. So that's how you do a double crochet. So again, you're going to do another double crochet, but before we do another double crochet, grab your stitch marker and mark your stitch, just to so that you will know that's where our round ends start, and that's where it's going to end. That's why it's important to know to mark that stitch. If you're an absolute beginner and you're not familiar with the stitches, you can't really identify them by just looking at them. So I suggest you mark the first stitch, and then we are going to carry on. Now we're going to do another double crochet into the ring. After that, we chain one, and back in the ring we do 3 double crochets. So this is 1, 2, and 3. Right, and we chain 1. So we did now, so now we have 1, 2, 3, and a chain 1 space here. You see there's a little bit of gap. That's a chain 1 space, and we have 1, 2, 3. So we have 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Now we just chained 1 here, and we're going to do again 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, and 3. All right, and then we are going to chain 1, and back into the ring we are going to do 3 double crochets again. Now we have a cluster. So these double crochets, we call them cluster. So a cluster is 3 double crochets, right? So we have 1. Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for joining the live. And so let me know where you're watching me from. So now we have a cluster here and a chain 1 space and another cluster. I said cluster is 3 double crochets, right? So I've got 1, 2, 3 double crochets. That's another cluster. A chain 1 space, another cluster, and the chain 1 space. Now we have another cluster right there. So what we're going to do now, so we have 1, 2, 3. Now here we're just going to chain 1, and we are going to remove our stitch marker. Yeah, remove, and then we're going to insert in there like so. Where the stitch marker was, we insert our hook, we yarn over, and then we pull through, the other loop on our hook. So that is the end of row 1. Let me just grab my scissors so I can cut this long and tail and show you what you need to do to close that round. I'm going to show you what you need to do to close the round. So now I've got my scissors here with me, and I'm just going to cut this long tail. Now to close this round, what you need to do is just you need to pull, right? Let me just show you. You see this end tail here, so you just need to pull it. As you pull, as you can see, it's closing. Don't pull it too tight to the point where you break the yarn. Just pull it enough for you to able to close that round, right? And later on we can weave that end tail in, but for now we are going to carry on with round 2. So for round 2 we are going to insert into the first stitch like so, yarn over, and then we pull through, and then we pull through another one, and now we insert into the chain 1 space. You see there's a chain 1 space there, so we're just going to insert it, yarn over, we pull through, and we pull through the next loop. Now we are left with 1 loop on our hook. So next we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and remember those 3 chains count as our first double crochet from here, from this round, and throughout this project we are going to count these 3 chains as our first double crochet. Remember that? So now into the same chain 1 space we're going to do 2 double crochets. So we insert, we yarn over, we pull through. Now we've got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, we are left with 3 loops, yarn over, and pull through 2 again. So this will be our last double crochet, right, for this cluster. Remember I said a cluster is 3 double crochets, so that's a cluster. And next we're going to chain 1, and we're just going to push our double crochets aside a little bit so that you can have space to work into the same chain 1 space. So we yarn over. Now we are going to do 3 double crochets back into the same 1 chain space. Into that very same space we are going to do 3 double crochets. That's another cluster. So here, as you can see, they are all in the chain 1 space. So we have 1. This is it. This is the first thing here. Yeah, let me show you the first chains here. These chains are our first double crochet, counts as our first double crochet, right? So we are counting those chains 1, and remember I said the count as first double crochet here and throughout this project, right? So we have 1 double crochet, 2, 3, and with a chain 1 space here, so that's a cluster in 1 chain 1 space, and with a chain 1 space also here, and then have another 3 double crochet, 1 cluster in the same chain 1 space. Okay, so we have 2 clusters and a chain 1 space in between, inside the chain 1 space of this previous round. So now we are going to do that in every chain 1 space. Remember, this is a chain 1 space, and there's another one here and another one here, and that will be the end. So we are going to do that. So next we are going to chain 1, so, and into the next chain 1 space we're going to do a cluster, chain 1, a cluster into that 1 chain 1 space, right? So chain 1 double crochet and another double crochet, and again another one, so that's a cluster, and we're going to chain 1 and back into that same chain 1 space we do another cluster. A cluster is 3 double crochets, that's a cluster, right? So that is my last double crochet. So you see, so 3 double crochets, a chain 1, 3 double crochet, and there's also a chain 1 in between. There's a group of clusters, there's a chain 1 here, groups of double crochet. Okay, my yarn is misbehaving here, but anyway, it's fine now. So now the next thing is to chain one and do the exact same thing we did. So we're just going to yarn over, insert, and we are going to do our double crochets just like we were doing in those chain one spaces. So we're going to chain one again, and back into that chain one space we are going to do 3 double crochets back into that chain one space. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we have a chain one space here, so we're just going to chain one and repeat the same thing. So these are granny square stitches and they work very, very fast. You know, if you're not careful, you can be addicted. Okay, so now I'm almost done here with my last cluster. Remember, cluster is 3 double crochets. Now to join in, and I always forget, guys, you have to forgive me for that. I always forget to mark my first stitch because I've been doing this for years now and I can easily identify the stitches. But if you're an absolute beginner, mark that stitch so that you don't lose your stitches, or so that you don't slip stitch to join the round in the wrong stitch. So always mark the stitch. I'll try to remember to mark the very first stitch for you guys so that you understand. Now next we've got the 3 chains here, 1 2 3, and on top of that double crochet. Remember, we've got double crochet here on top of that. That's where we are going to slip stitch, yarn over, we pull through, and we pull through the last stitch, the last loop on our hook. So this is the end of round 2. This is the end of round 2. Now we are going to carry on to round 3, and round 3 is going to be a little bit different. Okay, it's going to be slightly different because we are just going to we are just going to do all it's going to be a round of increases, right? You're just going to increase in every chain one space. I'll show you. So now see where our hook is right now, right? So we are going to move this hook to this chain one space because that's where we need to start, right? You can start in the middle of that cluster, so we need to do it in chain one space. So we are going to insert our hook into that stitch, we yarn over, we slip stitch, and then into that chain one space we insert, we yarn over, and then we pull through. Now we are in the corner right there, so we're just going to chain 3, 1 2 3. Remember I said this 3 chains counts as a first double crochet here and throughout this project. So remember that, because there will be time I will not say it. So remember, so we're going to yarn over and do just like we were doing here. We're going to do 3 clusters. We're going to do a cluster. So I am done with that cluster, and I'm going to chain 1 and back into that same chain 1 space. We are going to do a cluster again. Remember, a cluster is 3 double crochets. Now we are going to chain 1, and into that next chain 1 space here. Remember, we're going to be working into the chain 1 spaces here and throughout. We're just going to be working in the chain 1 spaces here and throughout. Remember that. Right, so here I did a cluster, and I'm going to chain 1, and back into that same chain 1 space I'm going to do another cluster. Oh guys, and I almost forgot to mark that first stitch. I hope you remembered. If you're following along, if you're crocheting along with me, I just hope you remembered. Now I'm just going to mark that first double crochet. Now we're going to chain 1 and we're going to repeat, right? So as you can see, there's a chain 1 space here. Like I said, we'll just be working in the chain 1 spaces and nowhere else. Chain 1 spaces throughout. And in those chain 1 spaces, we're just going to do a cluster, chain 1, and another cluster into those chain 1 spaces all the way to the end. Okay, so guys, if you're enjoying this live, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my upcoming live streams, because I will be live 3 times a week teaching how to crochet. So if you want to know how to crochet, or if you want to learn something, a skill, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss, my videos and my live streams. So now we are going to continue with this cluster. Okay, and then we're going to chain 1, and back into that chain 1 space we're going to place 3 double crochets. Right, that's a cluster, remember that. And we are going to chain 1. So our clusters, you see there's a cluster here, a chain 1 space, a cluster, a chain 1 space, cluster, chain 1 space, cluster. So that's how it's going to be all throughout this round. So guys, let's chat in the chat where you're watching me from, and if you're a beginner, what do you struggle with? Let's chat. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I don't think I'll be able to finish this granny stitch bucket hat, but I'll be back with I'll be back here so that we can continue together, but I'm going to leave it at a point where you just have to repeat. Okay, and then I'll do it offline, not here. And then when I'm done with those repeat rows, I'll be back tomorrow. Yeah, with the continuation of this granny stitch bucket hat, and it's going to be a bit different. Oh, pay attention, you guys. See, oh, I cannot crochet and talk at the same time, but I'll try, because yeah, I can't afford to make a mistake right now. So now I'm placing my cluster in there. I'd only placed 1 in the chain 1 space, but we need 2 throughout this row. Now chain 1, and into that chain 1 space we do 2 clusters. We do a cluster, a chain 1, and a cluster into that chain one space. And don't forget, guys, that this clusters are separated by a chain one space. They have chain one space in between, right? And then we chain one. Now we have a chain one space right there. So I'm going to do another cluster. Okay. So this is going to be, I'm going to show you later on, so stay with me, what size, because we're going to have a row that will determine what size you're doing. So I will tell you what you need to do for different sizes. Okay, so we're just going to carry on with our group of clusters, group of double crochets, right? Okay, so this is the end of row 1, 2, 3. This is the end of round 3, and we're just going to remove our stitch marker. Into that stitch marker, where the stitch marker was, insert our hook here and over, and put through that loop on our hook, right? So that will be the end of round 3. So for round 4, it's going to be slightly different. So round, I've got 1, 2, 3. Round 4 is going to be different, but it's going to be very, very simple. Okay, it's going to be very, very simple. So what we're going to do, again, we cannot start our row where we are, so we need to slip stitch into the nearest chain one space. So we are going to slip stitch into the first stitch like so, and slip stitch into the chain one space. Okay, so and then we're going to chain 3, and remember what I said about these 3 chains, and we are going to do only one cluster, and we're going to do a chain 1, and into the next chain 1 space we do another cluster. So a cluster is 3 double crochets. Chain 1, move again to the next chain 1 space, and chain 1, and move again to the chain 1 space, a cluster into that chain 1 space, right? A cluster in there, 3 double crochets in there, chain 1. So that's what we're going to be doing all the way like that till we close this round. Again, I forgot to mark the first stitch. Don't be like me, okay? Don't be like me, you guys. Do as I say, not as I do. Mark that stitch, okay? Just place the stitch marker there, and we're going to carry on with our cluster in each chain 1 space. So guys, if you're enjoying this live, give it a thumbs up. I think I can, say something while I'm doing this round, because it's a bit it's easy. I don't need to concentrate. I just need to make sure that I'm doing a cluster into chain 1 space, into each chain 1 space. Okay, so Okay, guys, don't forget that when you do a cluster, you see it's our clusters are separated by chain one space here and throughout our projects. Okay, remember that here and throughout this project. So guys, I was saying that I have a playlist on my channel, right? If an absolute beginner, if you've never crocheted in your life, or you you just want to learn how to crochet just for fun, right? I have a playlist on my channel titled uh crochet for absolute beginner, something like that. Okay, I might be wrong, but yeah, it's called absolute huh? Beginner crochet course. Yes, it's titled beginner crochet course, and there you will learn how to hold your hook, how to hold your yarn, stuff like that. So because I know there are two different ways to hold your yarn. You see the way I'm holding my yarn right now, my hook, the way I'm holding my hook right now is is the it's sort of like I'm holding a knife, right? Like when you're eating on a dining table, right? Whatever, you hold your knife like that, fork and knife. So that is one way of holding your hook. But there's also another way, which is the holding like a pen, right? So all of that, all of those stuff you will be, if you look it up, check my playlist, you will learn all those stuff, and you just find, what's comfortable for you. Because as for me, when it comes to holding my my hook like so, like a pen, I'm very, very slow, right? I'm very slow, as you can see. I'm very slow, and my tension is not the same compared to when I'm holding it like a knife. So you just need to, play around a little bit and see what's comfortable for you. So yeah, I miss you too, pop culture. And and we're just going to carry on. Placing a cluster. Okay, so what's happening now? So we're just going to carry on chain one, and remember we have chain one in between our clusters. The reason why I keep on stressing that you must have chain one spaces in between your clusters is that if you do not chain one, your work will end up curling like so, like a ball. But make sure that we want our work to stay flat like this, right? That's why you have to make those chain one spaces so that it stays nice and flat, right? Because this is the crown of our head, right? The crown of our hat. Now, as you can see, I've reached the end, so I'm just going to chain one and remove my stitch marker and insert, just like we've been doing when you're working on the other previous rounds. So we slip stitch to join that round, and we are done with row 1 2 3 4. So that will be the end of row 4. So for row 5, row 5 is going to be a bit different, right? It's not going to be the same here. So So row 5 is going to be a bit different, and this row is just going to have an increase. So when I say increase, is that part where we have to like do. Hi Alison, how are you doing? Thank you for joining in. Are you a beginner, or have you been crocheting? So guys, this is going to be 1 2 3 4. So this row 5 is going to be an increase row. When I say increase row, I mean that part where we have to do chain 1. We have to do 1 cluster plus a chain 1 and a 1 cluster, all into the chain 1 spaces. So that's when we increase. Whenever we do 2 clusters plus a chain 1 in chain 1 space, that's an increase. Okay, that's how we increase this our head. So this row is going to be 3 4. So 1 2 3. Okay, so if you're doing a different size, this part here is for all the sizes. So I'm going to show you what you need to do for different sizes, but that will be for row 6. For row 5 is just going to be for all sizes. Okay, so now again we cannot start from here. So what are we going to do? We're going to slip stitch into the first stitch so that we can move our hook to the next chain 1 space, and then we slip stitch into the chain 1 space. So now we are going to chain 3, and remember those 3 chains count as our first double crochet here and throughout. Now we are going to do a cluster, right, and we are going to do chain 1 back into that same chain 1 space. So in other words, this is an increase. So back into that chain 1 space, we're going to do another cluster. Remember, a cluster is 3 double crochets. Right, so we made an increase there. So what you're going to do next, do not forget to chain 1. The reason why we chain 1 in between our clusters is because we want to keep our crown nice and flat. Remember that. Now next, into the, let me just check here. Okay, now next, into that chain 1 space, we are going to do only 1 cluster. Right, we're going to do only 1 cluster. And we're going to chain 1, and we're going to move to the next chain 1 space, and we're going to do 2 clusters, chain 1, and we're going to do 1 cluster, chain 1, and another cluster. Remember, a cluster is 3 double crochets. So we're going to chain 1, and back into that same chain 1 space, we're going to do a cluster like so. Now that will be the pattern for this round, right? A cluster, an increase. We have an increase here, 1 cluster, an increase, right? An increase, remember, it's 3 clusters, chain 1, and 3 double crochets, chain 1, and 3 double crochets all into that chain 1 space. And we have chain 1 here, and another cluster. A cluster is three double crochets, and we have chain one space, three double crochets, that's one cluster, chain one, and another three double crochet, which is a one cluster. So that will be the pattern all the way to the end. And do not forget to chain one, and we carry on. So guys, if you're enjoying this live, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. That is if you are into crocheting, okay? Because it will be pointless for someone who is not into crocheting to subscribe to my channel, because at the end of the day, whenever you see my my notification, right, saying Crochet Craft uploaded a video and you're not into crocheting, definitely I'm not going to watch that video, because you're not into crocheting, and that will kill that won't be nice for my channel. So always subscribe if you're into crocheting. I'm just being honest. Right, so we're just going to carry on with the pattern. Chain one into the next chain one space. We're just going to do an increase here. So if you know somebody who is into crocheting, please share this live with them. I would truly appreciate that. And follow me on my other platforms at Crochet Crafts. Right, so we're just going to carry on with this row, right? Just going to carry on, chain one, and into the next chain one space we're just going to do 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, chain one, and we are going to do 3, 1, 2, 3, an increase. This is going to be an increase, right? You guys, I'm trying to move my channel. I'm trying to get my watch hours to be 4,000 watch hours, and it's really hectic. So I appreciate you guys for being here with me. Truly appreciate that. It's helping me a lot. Now we're just going to carry on, and then the next round after this, that's the round I will show you what to do for different sizes. Okay, show you what to do for different sizes. Chain one. Okay, I'm just going to go a little bit faster here. Okay, but don't worry, I'm just doing the exact thing we're doing, but a little bit faster. Okay, so now I'm done here. Now I'm doing 3 double crochets, 1 cluster into that chain one space, chain one. Now I'm doing an increase here, chain one, another cluster, chain one, another cluster into the next chain one space, I'm just going fast, guys, because it's just a repeat. I'm repeating this, what I just showed you. Now I'm in the next chain one space, and I'm going to do cluster, chain one, and another cluster into that chain one space. Chain one, back into the same chain, next chain one space. I'm going to do a cluster, and this is my last chain one space. And another chain last double crochet, right? And again, I forgot to mark. Don't be like me, okay? I'm always saying that. Don't be like me. Be clever and mark your first double crochet. Okay, now I'm going to chain one and slip stitch on top of the first double crochet we did at the beginning of this round. So much noise, you guys. So much noise. I can't control that. So now now we are done with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now this is the 6th row. So this 6th row is going to be a bit different according to your size, the size that you are working on. So what you're going to do is moving our hook to the next chain one space, right to the closest chain one space, and we are going to, if you are doing a size small, we are just going to do, in the next chain one space, you're going to do a cluster, an increase. So which means an increase is a cluster, chain one, and a cluster, all in the chain one space. That's an increase. So I'm going to do a cluster here, an increase, a cluster, an increase, a cluster, an increase, a cluster, an increase, a cluster, increase, all the way to the end in all the chain one space. Cluster, increase, and remember an increase is a cluster, chain one space, a cluster, all in one chain one space. That's an increase. So that will be for size small. So for medium, what you're going to do here, for medium, we are going to chain 3. Okay, sorry, almost forgot. We can't start our round here. So we have to move our hook into that next chain one space, which is this one. So now we are going to chain 3, and for medium, what we are going to do here for medium is we are going to do a cluster, and increase, a cluster, and increase, right? And remember, I keep on repeating this because I know I have to, because I feel like there are people who will be like, what's an increase? So an increase is a cluster, a chain one, and a cluster, all in one chain one space. Okay, you see, like this one here, right? A cluster is the 3 double crochets. As you can see, there's 3 double crochets here. So it's 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, all into the same chain 1 space. We have increased by doing that. So a cluster only is just 3 double crochets. That's not an increase. Okay, so that is for medium size, right? So for medium size, I'm going to repeat again. You do a cluster, an increase, a cluster, an increase, a cluster, an increase, all the way to the end. That's for a medium. For a large, is just going to be a cluster, 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 increase. Cluster, 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 increase. All the way to the end. Okay, so in other words, I'm just saying for a small, we're just going to do one cluster, then increase. For a medium size, two clusters, then an increase. For a large size is three clusters, then an increase. Okay, now now for me, I am doing a medium, so I'm just going to do a cluster here. Chain one, and here I'm going to do another cluster, and remember those clusters are separated by chain one, right? Chain one, and into the next, this one, chain one space, that's where I do an increase. An increase is just one cluster, chain one, and another cluster. Oh, how many times have I said cluster? How many times have I said cluster now? So many times. Anyway, now, so that will be the pattern, right? For a medium size hat. For a medium size hat, I did a cluster here, cluster there, and then increase. So if you're doing a small, like let's say you've done this 2 3 chain one spaces. Oh my word, Mickey, go, Mickey. Now as I was saying, I'm doing a medium. That is why I have a cluster, chain one, a cluster, chain one, an increase of a cluster, a chain one space, a cluster, all into the same chain one space. That's for a medium. If you are doing a small, you should have a cluster here and an increase there, not here. Okay, if you're doing a large, you have a cluster, 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 and then an increase here. You see that? So is that what you have? That is if you're crocheting along with me, obviously. But anyway, we are going to chain one and we're going to repeat the pattern. So the pattern is going to be for a medium size, a cluster, chain one, another cluster into the next chain one space. Oops. Chain one, and into the next chain one space we do an increase. So an increase is like cluster, right? Chain one, cluster, then we have a chain one, and we have another cluster, all into the chain one space. Chain one. Don't forget to chain one, guys, because we want to make sure that our crown is nice and flat, right? So now I'm going to show you that for a medium, for a small, you should have cluster, increase, cluster, increase, cluster, increase, right? That's for a small. For a small, just cluster, increase, cluster, increase, cluster, increase all the way to the end. That's for a small. For a medium, it's like me, cluster, cluster, increase, cluster, cluster, increase. For a large, cluster, 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 increase. Cluster, 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 increase. All the way to the end. I hope you understand now. So, we are going to carry on. Chain 1, another cluster. So I'm going to go a bit fast here because I'm just repeating what I just said. Okay guys, so if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. And if you're just joining in and you'd like to know how I started this crown, don't worry, I'm going to save this live for later so that you can go back to it and watch it whenever you want, at your own pace, at your own time. So we're just going to carry on. Chain 1. Don't forget to chain 1 in between our clusters. And when you're making an increase, remember, what happened here now? Okay, my yarn is misbehaving again. So I'm just going to fix it quickly. Okay, uh-oh. I think it's looped on my come on. It's looped onto my ring light here. It's looped around my ring light. Why? Why are you delaying me? Now I have to stop a little bit. I don't know why this yarn is not changed here. It doesn't look like a variegated yarn. Look at that. It looks very plain. But anyway, it's nice color, isn't it? Is it not a nice color, you guys? Let me know in the chat. So I'm going to carry on a bit faster because I'm just repeating what I just said. Right. So here we do a cluster. Let me see. Increase, cluster, cluster. Oh, made a mistake. You need to increase the. So let's unravel that. It happens, you guys. Don't make a mistake and then you think, oh, I have failed. I cannot do this. Just unravel. If you're getting a little bit frustrated, just put it aside. Go do something else, you know? Yeah, go do something else, cool yourself down. I know, because I know crocheting can be really frustrating, especially if you don't count your stitches. Oh my goodness. It can be really frustrating. That is why it's important to count your stitches and use the stitch marker if you're an absolute beginner. But just know, sometimes even if you use your stitch markers, even if you count your stitches, you might, just make something, wrong, and it messes everything, and then you have to unravel or maybe you just don't like it, you get a little bit frustrated because let's say you realize that you made a mistake on your maybe third from finishing row. That will be very, very brutal, but you don't get frustrated. What I normally do is whenever I'm in such a situation, I just, obviously I'll be frustrated, but I just put it aside, forget about it, go do something else, and Yeah, I clearly cannot do crocheting and talking at the same time. I can listen to something, watch something, but I cannot, have a conversation with someone while I'm crocheting. Not when you're doing this. When you're doing a certain pattern like this one, obviously you need to make sure that you are increasing where you need to increase, and doing the right thing where, yeah. So like I was saying, guys, I know it can be frustrating to unravel, but don't beat yourself. Just make sure that you get frustrated, you go down, you come back to it. That's not giving up, right? Yeah. I've been crocheting for so many years, but I tell you, I get frustrated, especially with my yarn. When it tangles and I have to make sure that look for the end tail to just unravel all. Oh, it's really, really frustrating, but I just have to cool down and come back to it. Yeah. So guys, where are you watching me from? Where are you watching me from? If you're an absolute beginner, what are your struggles? What have you avoided so far? If you are really into crocheting, what is it that you learned and then decided, nah, I'm not going to do that? What is it exactly? As for me, when I started crocheting, I I didn't do swatches. Nah. No, I've always come across patterns. Do a swatch to just check your tension, if it's going to be. Nah, it wasn't for me. I skipped those. Like I say, don't do as I do as I say. Ah, yeah. Yeah, but I never follow those swatch thing, do swatch and nah, no way. Okay, let me finish this round. Chain one, now an increase here. Chain one, now that's an increase, right? Let me see. Yes, that's an increase. Now we chain one. Now we do 2 clusters into the next one chain space. Chain one, another cluster, chain one, and I'm left with one chain one space there, and I'm going to do an increase, which means 2 clusters separated by chain one space. 1 2, then chain, and then another cluster into that chain one space. Right, chain one, and I'm going to close this round, excuse me, like so. So that's how it's going to look like for a medium size hat. So if you're doing a small, you have, is that it? Yes, that's it. If you're doing a size small, you have it to be a little bit small. If you're doing yeah, medium, it will be like even something like this. If you're doing a large, it will have, it to be big. So now we are going to do this last row 1 2 3 4 5 6 row 7, and to row 16. I don't know if I should do 16 or if I should do 12. I don't know. I don't think 12 will work. Yeah, 16. Let's just do 16, right? So this row 7 to row 16 is just going to be a repeat row. Hi. Hi, Johnson. How are you doing? So welcome to the live. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Are you into crocheting? So this row 7 and to row 16 is just going to be a repeat row. Okay, so I'm going to do this row and I'm going to leave you. Okay, I'm going to end this live, and I'll do the other rows from row 8 to row 16 offline, and on my next live I'll be back and I'll show you how to do the brim. And yeah, okay, so as always, we don't start our round here. We slip stitch into the first stitch and slip stitch into the second stitch, into the chain 1 space. And now you know what I say about these chains we start with. They count as our first double crochet here and throughout. Okay, so we are just going to carry on. Now I did a cluster there and I'm going to chain 1 into the next. We're going to do a cluster. I don't know why the color has not come into this. This is a variegated yarn, and I don't know why it looks plain right now. So we're just going to do a cluster into each chain 1 space, and those clusters are separated by chain 1 by a chain 1, like so. Chain 1, and into the next chain 1 space we do another cluster. Remember, a cluster is 3 double crochets, right? Like so. Chain 1, and we are just going to carry on doing chain 1, doing clusters into each chain 1 space. Chain 1, a cluster, chain 1, another cluster into the chain 1 space, chain 1, another cluster. So this is the repeat row. Chain 1, another cluster into the next chain 1 space, chain 1, another cluster, chain 1. So you see, now I just wanted to show you that do not forget to do a chain 1, a cluster in here, because I know it looks like there's no chain 1 space, but there is a chain 1 space in between this, the increase right there. So do not forget to place a cluster in there, and do not forget to chain 1, because our clusters are separated by a chain 1, right? So I'm going to go very, very fast. Okay, and we're going to carry on. Oh, I wish this was going to just blend in nicely. I don't know why the other color is not showed up yet. Okay, there it is. You see? Now it's rechanging into that, right? As you can see, changing into that. Okay, there's a little bit of that. I don't know. So I'm just going to carry on with our clusters. You see what I mean? Do not forget to do a cluster in there, because when it's like this, then you might miss it. So always check in between the increases, right? Always check to see if there is a to see the chain one and not to miss it. Okay. Chain one. A cluster, chain one, another cluster. So guys, if you're enjoying this live, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and let me know where you're watching me from. If you know anybody who is into crocheting, please share this live with them. I would truly appreciate that. Chain one, and then we're going to carry on, right? Chain one and carry on, chain one and carry on, chain one into that chain one space of the increase. So see, this row is just going to be a repeat row till we have 16 double crochet, 16 rows, 16 rounds. We are doing it in, I keep on saying rounds, row. It's round. Okay. Okay, so we're just going to carry on. Chain one, a cluster, 3 double crochets, that's a cluster, chain one, into the next chain one space, we do another cluster. Do not forget to chain one in between our clusters, and make sure you don't skip any chain one space. Okay. Chain one. Now I am at the end of this round. Ooh, it has changed the color. Look at that. Okay, now we are going to chain one, and we're going to slip stitch on top of the first double crochet we did. Mark it. I hope yours is marked. Remember, I said do as I say, not as I do. So I hope, so much hope that yours is marked. It's not like mine right now. Okay, you will see as you keep on crocheting, as you keep on identifying your stitches, but just looking at them, you end up realizing that forgetting the stitch markers, unless it's really necessary, like for example, when you're doing like their amigurumis, for instance, and you are required to work in sort of like a spiral, right? Right. Then we are forced to use a stitch marker. Okay? Because yeah. Now we're going to repeat again this row, row 7. We're going to repeat it till we have 16 rows in total from this row. No. We're going to repeat till we have 16 rows. Let me see. 16. Then we have 22 rows in total. No. Let's repeat it till we have because it's going to be like this. So let's repeat this row 7 till we have, let's see, because right now is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, so maybe 8 9 10 11 12. Let's repeat it till I have 12, right, in total, everything counting from here. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. Yes, let's repeat it till we have 12, because I'm thinking if we do 16, then it's going to be dip. Our head is going to be, is it dip? Is dip is the word, right? I think. Yeah, but you get what I'm trying to say. And we don't want that, because we want also to include the, what is this? To include the brim, because the brim is going to be a different. Okay, so yeah, that's what you're going to do. The brim is going to be double crochets. Okay, it's going to be looking very lovely. Can't wait to show you guys. Can't wait to show you. So yeah, repeat row 7 till you have row till you have 12 rows in total. All right. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. And if you don't know, if you are confused, like how, don't know what's happening, don't know which one is which row, just mark this row like so. Just put a marker, maybe a stitch marker, maybe another yarn like this, maybe just hook it in there and tie it, and so that you will know that was row 7, and then you count from there. Okay, yeah. So we're not going to make an increase, we're just going to do clusters into each chain 1 space. And remember, the clusters are separated by a chain 1. And also when you're starting here, you don't start right there. You slip stitch, and then you slip stitch into the next chain 1 space, and then you carry on, right? And carry on with our stitches, our cluster. Oh, this is coming out nicely. And another cluster here. After I chain 1, then I do another cluster into the next chain 1 space. Right? Chain 1, then another cluster into the chain 1 space. Chain 1, then another cluster into the chain 1 space. Like so. okay, like so, all the way to the end till we have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? So which means, in other words, you're just going to do 5 more rows after this. So this is going to be the 8th row, and then you do to have 12 rows. Okay, and yeah, that's it. I will see you in my next live where I have to like show you how to do the brim and show you a little bit of something else, because I know it will just take like maybe 15 minutes of the live to show you how to do the brim, because yeah, just going to be the repeat row, and then I'm going to do something else after that. Okay, so thank you so much for being here with me, and I just thought I should show you some of my hats. Some of the beanies I did. I haven't finished. Look at this. This is lovely, and this is for a child, and as you can see, it's not done, right? It's not done, but it is lovely, is it not? Let me know in the chat. It's just granny squares, right? Granny squares. And I did another one. Here is finished. It's for an adult, and okay, it's inside out. So this is the inside, right? Again, just granny squares and this ribbing pattern, right? So I'm doing all those hats for my next market, right? So yeah, I just thought I should show you. I wanted to do another hat here, but I realized I ran out of yarn. I didn't have enough yarn, but this is nice. So I'm not done with this one. This is just going to be exactly like this one. So I'm not done with this one, and I ran out of yarn. just a pity. It's just a pity, but it was coming out nicely. I really love the colors. It's nice. So what do you think, you guys? Let me know in the chats what you think. So thank you so much, guys, for being here with me. Thank you so much for all the support. I really appreciate that. And I'll see you in my next live where I'll be finishing this granny stitch bucket hat. Thank you, and see you in my next live. Bye.